What's up, peeps? Welcome to the Up and After podcast. Grab a mug. Let's have a talk.
What do you want? It's too early for visitors.
I then awake as refreshed and recharged as a newborn child, ready to take on the day's challenges.
Welcome to the Up and After podcast, where today we are making like a Black Sabbath reunion tour because we're just playing Iron Man again. And I am your host, Riley, and I'm here with my co-host, Chris.
That would be my entrance if I could, I could do that.
It's odd because the soundtrack of this movie is predominantly AC/DC, but that's okay, I guess. All right, so we're talking about Iron Man 2, yeah?
Yes.
It's our third foray into this Marvel world. When was this movie? 2010. 10?
Ooh, the start of the...
I have no scale for this.
The 10 decades,
Oh, man. So, Iron Man 2 is not very well liked in the general consensus.
I hated this movie. But continue.
I've always been pretty fine with it. And I've never understood just how much people didn't like it. I've always heard people say that they really don't like this movie. And I'm like I don't understand it. I think there's nothing in this movie that really makes me go, how dare they? How dare they? Terrible. So, we're going to be talking about it because we watched this movie just the other week. And I'm very excited because I took a lot of notes, by which I mean I took about a page worth of notes.
Yeah.
So,
I'm excited to dive deep in your notes. I think you said this. I think we just had like this exact moment on another film, and I can't remember if it was Hulk or not. Where you're like, I have notes, and I was like, I'm excited to hear your notes. But I'm always excited to hear your notes. I feel like
it's always nice when I can bust out the old Google Doc and write stuff down as we watch a silly movie, especially if it's one I've seen before, because then I don't have to worry about missing stuff and coming here unprepared.
And
even though it's probably going to happen.
I feel like Riley has this magical power over me, where he can make me easily sway on things. So
we'll see.
It's just good to hear things from him. So.
All right. So first things first, I want to talk about the problem that I'm going to admit about this movie, because I do know what the problem with the movie is.
Okay.
And that is, this is a movie that goes in far too many different directions, and it can't pick and settle on one and really have a strong focus on that one direction.
Okay.
So let me find the note in here. Here we go. I already found it. So this movie is a split between Tony dealing with his impending death,
cool.
The theme of the sins of the fathers, with Tony and his father and Ivan and his father.
Yeah.
We have the government wanting to take away the Iron Man suit. And then we have two villains. We have Justin Hammer and Ivan Vanko, aka Whiplash. We also have S.H.I.E.L.D.'s involvement, them trying to come in and help save
we consider
Tony's
Rhodey a villain too? Or antagonist?
I mean, kinda. He's antagonistic at one point, I guess.
Okay.
We have Rhodey, who has his own little development arc. We have Tony and Pepper and their relationship. We have the introduction of Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. So there's a lot going on here, and I think they needed to really pick a lane, as it were.
Yeah. And
that's going to be kind of the theme of this little retrospective. First of all, going into the actual movie itself, of course, starts with the villain origin, as it were, where we see the death of Anton Vanko. Are you familiar with Anton Vanko from the comics?
No, I'm not. I do want to say something here, though, because
go for it.
When I was younger, being a little so this came out 2010, so I was 12. Yeah. For some reason, I thought this was like Yeltsin's brother. That's his name, right? Yeltsin from the first movie.
Yeltsin.
Yeltsin.
Oh, you're talking about Boris Yeltsin from the Soviet Union.
I mean, what's the difference? I thought this was Yeltsin from from like Yinsen's brother from that movie, and I was like, oh, this is like a revenge like plot line.
That'd
And
be
like
interesting.
they mistakenly thought that Tony had like killed Yinsen and stole his invention to like like that's what I thought. I don't know. I was a kid, so I clearly wasn't paying attention too much. But I also kind of feel like they kind of like breeze over it so quickly. Like I'm supposed to believe that this guy is so angry about his dad dying. Like I don't know.
And they only talk about what happened between Howard and Anton, like in a throwaway line towards the middle end of the movie. So Anton Vanko was originally from the comics in the 60s, very early on in the Iron Man storyline. He was one of the first villains who Iron Man actually faces. And he was some agent from the Soviet Union who they sent over to try and kill Iron Man. And he had his own mech suit, whatever you want to call it, power suit, suit of power armor. And his name was the Crimson Dynamo. And he and Iron Man fought each other. And after Iron Man won, Anton Vanko renounced the Soviet Union and declared his ever-loving support for America.
Whoa.
And he started working at Stark Industries.
So
and then he
was like, I'm on the winning side.
Yeah, a lot of these Silver Age comics were very much like a propaganda war against the Soviet Union during the Cold War.
Yeah.
But a few issues after that, Anton Vanko, like a new villain shows up from the Soviet Union, and Anton Vanko goes to fight him as the Crimson Dynamo, and he sacrifices his life, like blowing up to destroy this other villain in service to the United States.
Okay.
So that's him in the comics, and they decided to go in a different direction here, where he and Howard Stark work together, and they work together to build the arc reactor. Then Howard sent him off to Siberia and stole all the credit for the technology.
I like that a lot more than the propaganda machine. That is America.
So he dies, and then his son Ivan swears revenge and makes his own arc reactor powered technology.
Ivan Drago?
Right? Yep.
Okay.
I see you've sent me the picture of him screaming.
If he dies, he dies.
So, and we can talk more about Mickey Rourke a little later when I get to it in my notes, if I do, and if not, we'll mention it at some point. But moving on to the next part where we get our introduction for Iron Man, I want to talk about whenever we do these, I get really hung up on little things that I really shouldn't be getting hung up on. This time around, the thing I'm going to get really hung up on is the Stark Expo, right?
Yeah.
This thing makes no fucking sense to me whatsoever. I'm going to be completely honest with you. So they say it's, it's sort of like the World's Fair, kind of, where everyone comes together and brings technology together, and they all get their own booths.
It's supposed to be like was it CCS? Was that CES, right? Is that what I'm getting from?
I have no idea.
CES is because it's like all the like major technology, like it's like a technology convention. And it's like some futuristic tech that you may or may not ever see again. Just at this convention, they do that every year. So,
all right,
yeah.
But the thing that I get really hung up on is they're bringing this back after like it's been gone for a few years, because Howard Stark died, I guess, so they haven't been doing it. Tony Stark says, "We're opening up the Stark Expo for the first time in years, and we're going to be running it year-round. Like, it's going to be a 365-day event." That makes no sense.
Okay. I get what you're saying, but that could also just be Tony, like, his ego of, like, we're running year-round because I'm here year-round.
No doubt. But I feel after, like, 3 weeks, people are already going to be bored of all this stuff. Unless they just keep bringing in people to show off their technology. And at that point, you're probably inviting some people who really don't have anything good to show off, and yet Justin Hammer still can't get his own booth. That's all I'm saying.
All right. Okay, fair.
Stark Expo makes no sense.
All right.
But that's kind of the backdrop for this, is that there's this big expo going on, and that's where the climax takes place.
Yeah.
So, moving on, what else do we got? Yeah, you got something?
Nah, go ahead.
All right. So, they're leaving the expo after Tony Stark does a big show off thing. By the way, I love the entrance to Shoot to Kill. I'm they lure me in with AC/DC here, and they make it very hype for me, very very personal. But I do like his entrance in this movie. I seem to remember there was a deleted scene where they extended the bit in the plane before he jumps a bit, but I don't quite remember too well. And they're also starting to set up his blood toxicity thing, where the arc reactor is killing him.
Which interesting. I think it's cool.
Yeah, I like it. They're doing a bit of a play on doing kind of an allusion to his alcoholism from the comics, because in this he has to drink like those weird chlorophyll drinks all the time. But they didn't want to actually go full into making him an alcoholic, so instead he's just drinking weird drinks to stop him from dying.
Which is interesting because I think the alcoholic Tony definitely fits this characterization of Tony. It
could be.
I think it could have
I'm
worked.
not sure how. I'm not sure if it's. I don't know.
It's okay. He gets drunk anyway and gets in the Iron Man suit in this movie, so I don't care.
That's true. It's true. So yeah, so after he introduces the Expo, so we have the villain, coming after Tony because his dad fucked over his dad,
Whiplash.
We have him doing the Expo right here. And then we get the third plot line in where Tony gets summoned to Washington for a hearing because the U.S. government wants to take the Iron Man suit as a weapon of war, right? Yeah. Which, of course, he doesn't want. The whole first movie was him trying to move Stark Industries away from weapon testing, selling weapons to groups to kill each other, So we get this scene in Washington, and we have Gary Shandling leading this hearing of senators, I would assume. Rest in peace, Gary Shandling.
That guy passed away. Rest in peace.
Yeah, he did a few years back. But I don't know if you remember, but in The Winter Soldier, Gary Shandling actually returns, and it's revealed that he's actually a Hydra agent. So coming back here and seeing him beef with Tony Stark is kind of funny because it seems so petty when you realize this guy's also working for the downfall of the free world.
Well, he wants the suits for that. It would have been a lot easier if Hydra could have got those suits.
I guess. So let's see. I didn't actually write it. Oh yeah, I did. I wrote Tony Stark is still charming and infuriating at the same time. Yep. How do you feel on that?
No, I agree. Yeah,
he's great. RDJ is very good at acting. Funnily enough, who would have thought?
That's RDJ. Holy shit!
It's really cool because we're so used to seeing. I mean, not anymore, but we got so used to seeing. We got so used to seeing Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man and Tony Stark, and it became so natural. Like he's just there. It's like, oh yeah, there he is. But it's really interesting seeing the second movie where he makes an appearance. I guess he did show up at the end of Incredible Hulk, but seeing him show up here in his second movie and just seeing him slide right back into that character and it just feeling so natural. It's just it really is a testament to how good he is as the character.
Yeah, I think it's always like when he's on screen, he's like his presence is felt. It's like, yep, that's Tony Stark. That's RDJ. Yeah,
it really makes perfect sense that the comics basically kind of adapted him as the new Iron Man going forward once the movies started coming out. And they did it with a lot of the characters once the MCU started becoming more popular.
Yeah.
But especially with Tony Stark, like he is the Iron Man now, in every single medium. It's just all modeled after him. And things like, it's pretty neat.
Mm-hmm.
So at this hearing, possibly one of my favorite aspects of this movie becomes introduced, and that is Sam Rockwell as Justin Hammer.
Yeah.
I love this character.
Yeah.
He is so entertaining. He is so whiny and so entitled, and I just love seeing him do what he does. And the actor does such a great job as this character. It's just he is magnetic.
It's much later in the movie, but I really love him selling the weapons to Rhodey. It's like one of my favorite scenes where he's like, yeah, I got this, this, and this. Nah, this don't work for you? Well, I got this, this, and this. Oh, this still don't work for you? Come on, man. You got give me something here.
Yeah, it's like he's like a snake oil salesman. Like Tony Stark, like he has the charisma, but he also has the engineering know-how to back it up. Like you see him actually like putting the work in and building all this stuff. Yeah. Where Justin Hammer seems like he's just got the salesman in him, It doesn't seem like he's actually that much of an inventor. He just pulls up with all the stuff already made,
Yeah.
And it's just such a great foil to Tony Stark in this movie. So he's great. And also at the hearing, we get the introduction of Don Cheadle as the new Rhodey. What are your thoughts?
dude.
I assume you prefer Terrence Howard.
It's kind of weird because I think as a kid it was just so jarring, and like that just kind of always stuck with me growing up, knowing both these two actors and what they done, and then getting into like this MCU and I'm like, oh, Terrence Howard. I'm like, okay, that's a cool pick. I don't know much about Rhodey. I don't read the comics, and then going, oh, we're gonna cast Don Cheadle, who one doesn't look anything like Terrence Howard or doesn't act like Terrence Howard in the slightest. So I was like, this is kind of weird. And it just never melded with me. Also, I think Don Cheadle's actually let me I'm about to fact check myself really quickly on fucking pod.
You check their ages?
Yeah. I might be wrong here.
I'm terrible at gauging
ages.
Okay,
so they're 5 years apart. Don Cheadle is 60 and Terrence Howard is now 55.
God damn, he's 60. He looks all right for 60.
Yeah, but at the time,
I can see
was
a
like,
bit of age on him in Secret Invasion, but I lost that right recently.
Oh,
yeah, go
fair. At the time, I was just like, oh man, Don Cheadle's way older than Terrence, because I just think Terrence looked like pretty younger than Don Cheadle. I was like, this is just such a weird casting. You're not even casting someone who like looks like this man. But now that we are like what 6 movies with Don Cheadle in it, like
more than that, I think.
Yeah, probably more. I don't care that much anymore. But when I was younger, I really had I was like, no, Terrence Howard. I like Terrence Howard. Why isn't he fucking Rhodey?
Yeah, I don't know. Whenever I go back to Iron Man 1, I really do enjoy Terrence Howard's performance.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I don't mind what Don Cheadle does either. So I just don't really have a preference, I guess.
To me,
and I just don't know how Terrence Howard would have worked out for the rest of the series. Like, yeah. I just don't know.
That's
really.
Fair. I think for me, Don Cheadle kind of comes off as like like a uncle or like a dad, right? And then like Terrence Howard actually felt like a brother to Tony to me.
Okay.
And that's the thing that's always in my mind is Don Cheadle always seems like he's like talking down to Tony every chance he gets, and even when he's not, it just feels like that. I don't know how to explain that. I don't know if I'm explaining it well, but
yeah. I just don't really have too many thoughts on it. I think I'm fine with either, honestly.
But Don Cheadle was also Kung Fu Kenny in Rush Hour, so he edges Terrence Howard out by that.
All right, fair enough. So let's see. Yeah, I already talked about how, we're introducing all these different plot threads and character arcs that we need to go through. We've talked about that, and we can go over that a bit more later.
Oh, sure. Okay, because I was going to ask, with that, how did you feel? Because we're pretty early. We're like about 15 minutes into the movie. Like, how do you feel them throwing all these things at you right now, versus how we feel by the end of the film, the outcome?
Okay, well, I actually have a note for this. I said after I laid out all the different stuff the movie tries to do, I say I actually like all the pieces of the movie. Everything they try to do, all the character arcs, all the storylines, I actually like all of it.
Yeah.
I just think the movie as a whole would have been a little better if it put more focus onto one or two of them, as opposed to trying all of them. But even though they try all of them, I still enjoy it all. There's no point where I'm like, I'm not really into the whole Tony dealing with his impending death. I'm not really into one of these villains. I'm not like, I like all of it. I think the government trying to take Tony's suits is a little underbaked, but
interesting
because it's not prominent enough for me to notice it, honestly.
I would say I think the hammer and the government thing kind of goes hand in hand. I think they kind of meld together. My issue is actually, I think, with Whiplash. I think that's actually underbaked for me personally.
It is. It definitely is. I think Hammer's probably the villain they should have focused on, honestly. But I think you do need something that can give you a bit more punch in the action department.
Yeah.
I don't think he can really do that.
Fair.
So
okay, we'll talk about it. Go ahead.
It's hard to say.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What? Oh, right. I guess we get a little show at the of Ivan finishing his Whiplash design. I think it's a neat suit. I don't like how he is like forced into doing this dumb kind of like arms out pose all the time. when he's in action.
Oh,
Do you know what I mean?
Because like logistically, he couldn't hold his hands beside his sides because they would hurt him. Is that what you're saying? Like,
Kind of. It's just like in all the action scenes, he feels very stiff. I think
yeah.
is the problem. But speaking more about the actor, I really do like Mickey Rourke in this role.
Oh yeah, same.
I just think he just gets nothing to do in
Yeah.
comparison to Sam Rockwell's villain.
Where's
and I
my
just
bird?
wish I got my board. I'm pretty sure that there was a lot that they had to cut, which is the reason.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I kind of wanted it to be a bit more balanced because I do like the performance. I just don't think he gets enough to do in comparison.
Yeah. I
Yeah, go
never.
for
I don't know if this is. I don't want to say controversial, but I don't know if this is shocking. But like, I never watched anything Mickey Rourke. I was gonna say Ricky Rourke. Mickey Rourke was in, and this is like the first thing I've seen him in, and maybe like the last. I don't know if I've seen him in anything else, but yeah. So I was just like, oh, this guy's cool. I like the way he sounds. He's acting pretty well, and I thought he was pretty. I think that very first show up rivalry, with the racetrack. I think that's done really well. I think it's really fucking cool. Also, fucking Tony's suit up, really fucking cool. So
Yeah, I was gonna add fucking the K suit up is incredible looking, and it makes me despair over
The nanotech.
prevalence. Nanotech is probably like the scapegoat for it, but yeah, just the prevalence of like not having cool suit ups anymore. You get it in some like smaller, low to the ground stuff, but in all the big stuff like Ant-Man and some of Spider-Man, all the Iron Man, it's just like it does feel like we're losing out on really cool stuff like this,
which is interesting because I thought one of the cool things from like the Spider-Man series, or like it's still like a semi suit. It was like the inflatable suit where he like presses the button and it kind of like sucks to his
vacuum.
I like that. I think that's really cool. I think they could have done like a lot of cool stuff with that, but when we getting in,
that's why I like Far From Home so much. That we get some neat suit stuff other than nanotech. But anyway, I'm not gonna go too much into that. We can talk about that
later.
Time.
Yeah.
But going back before the action scene at the race, we get the introduction of Scarlett Johansson as Natasha Romanoff. Where are you on that? Just in the context of this movie, do you think it was necessary to put her in? Do you think she adds enough to the movie on her own?
No, not really. But this is also Marvel kind of throwing things at the wall, so I kind of understand what they're trying to do. It felt a little. I don't know. It just feels weird here in this movie, I guess. But I'm like, where else would you put her?
Yeah, that's where I'm at. Is that I think she's really necessary for the Avengers, so she has to be established beforehand. And I don't want her to be another kind of Hawkeye scenario where he shows up for like 2 seconds in Thor and has like 2 lines.
Yeah,
and it's just another one of those things where the movie just has a lot going on and it's doing I think at this point they know that they're going to go for doing the Avengers.
Yeah.
And so they need to set up some stuff, and they just put a little too much in this movie to try and set it up,
Yeah, it's interesting because like,
but you can't do it in Thor or Captain America because Thor is like the Norse alien stuff, and Captain America's all take place in World War II. So it's like
exactly where did you put it?
It's tough,
and that's why I think like. I thought the beginning of Avengers, I know we haven't got there, but like it's kind of cool with her getting sent in to like get Banner. It's like interesting, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Like I wish we kind of got like a semi solo movie with that, or at least just more time with it, But yeah, I'm not. It's not the most offensive thing about this movie.
It's one of those things where it's in service of setting up a better payoff movie, the standalone movie suffers, which. It happens a few times in the movie lineups.
Yeah.
We get a super amazing cameo when we get into the Monaco sequence.
Oh, right.
Of course, amazing character. We get Christina Everhart returning from Iron Man 1 as this great cameo. She returns. I'm dancing around the point, obviously, but I did want to actually mention her because I appreciate that the movies are already trying to set up this sense of continuity where, you know, this very minor character that we had from the first movie does make a reappearance. So that every little bit of world building helps the overall immersion factor, and I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we kind of went over like I mean, because we don't have to nitpick everything, but like there's this one scene that I really do like with Tony and Mickey Rourke's character, Yvonne, and they're just talking. He's talking about like how'd you get my tech, or like where'd you get that from? You had to steal it from somewhere. He's like, no, I made it. And he's also like I made them believe that basically like you're not invincible, like you can't be touched. And I think that like kind of like ideology is like really cool.
Right.
Yeah, and I don't know if I want them to lean into it more, but I guess I just wanted like more stuff like that. I guess I wanted to say, but that's getting to like Thanos lecturing and stuff like that. So yeah,
I can go ahead and talk about it. I don't actually have any notes about that, but I do like the little back forth they have. I wish they had maybe one more back and forth between them.
There we
but
go.
I do love the you know, if you make God bleed, then the sharks come and there's blood in the water. You know, I do like that. But more specifically, we have the other cameo that is Elon Musk showing up in this movie.
Brother.
He's barely in it. He gets one line.
Yeah, he gets one. He's like,
Mr.
Mr. Stark, I really love your I love being South African, but talking about American politics. It's so funny because, you know, like obviously at the time, I'm sure like people knew who Elon Musk was, but I was a child, once again, 12 years old. I didn't understand that was a cameo. It's not until years later I was like, oh, Elon Musk is in this movie? What?
Yeah, it's because they're using the SpaceX factory as Hammer Industries. So he wanted to be in the movie for that. So
that's
whatever. But yeah, the race action scene is really fun. Just a really fun little Iron Man action scene. I like it. So after that, you know, we get the scene where they have the little talk. Then we have Justin Hammer breaking Ivan Vanko out of prison.
Yeah,
and it's such a wild plan that it's so complicated. Not even that complicated. It's overcomplicated for what it needs to be.
Yeah,
like they have them like smuggling in a dude into his cell who's wearing the same prison uniform as him. They send him like a meal that has his mashed potatoes that's actually a bomb. They let him out. He does that. Then he goes and he breaks the guard's neck. And then he like runs down some stairs, and then he gets captured by some goons who are working for Justin Hammer as security guards. Why not just have those security guards go to his cell and just take him? Why do you need to make an explosion diversion and put another guy in there?
Well, I thought the whole thing is the reason why he has on the same suit is for them to basically fake his death, so he's kind of like off the radar at all, like he's dead. They
don't do anything with that. Like, they don't do anything with him being dead. Like, sure, they probably... I don't even remember, but at some point, they're probably like, yeah, I'm Vanka's... He was killed in jail or something.
Yeah.
But, like, they don't do anything with that. So
also,
when he comes back, it's just like, oh, yeah, you're back. All right.
Yeah, okay, fair.
I don't know why it needed to be that complicated. Fair. But, you know, whatever.
Yeah. It's Justin Hammer.
So... And I love the scene between the two of them. I don't know if I don't think I mentioned it later, but yeah, the two of them just having the little back forth, and just throughout the rest of the movie, them just jabbing back and forth at each other is really fun. I love him just getting progressively more and more frustrated with this guy who just is not listening to anything he has to say.
Hey man, this doesn't look like it fits a body in here. Look, I'm trying to look.
Here, put your head in there. Put your head in there.
He's like,
Ivan, he can't fit his head in there. You know,
the scientist guy. I can't. I can't.
He like tells him over and over, like he keeps saying, like, no, go on, put your head in there. But it's like, this obviously can't work. It's so funny. So at one point, they're I think it may be on like the plane, and. Maybe, but anyway, it's like on TV, they're talking about, like, you know, Iron Man, can he still protect us, you know, after this big event? And I have a problem with that for two reasons. One, he like very clearly won the fight.
Right.
You know, it was not even close. You know,
Mhm.
he easily beat this guy and put him in prison. The second thing is they don't really give us any clarification on what Iron Man's been doing between these two movies.
Mhm.
Like, is he like a proper vigilante who's fighting crime and all that?
Mhm.
Like, they don't tell us anything about, like, is he working for the military and, like, going and fighting terrorists and stuff? That we get no information on how he is, quote, protecting us, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just very odd, you know? I don't get that. I think that could
how long has it been since the first movie to this movie? Do they say?
They probably say at some
Or
point.
is it like
but
in universe? Like it took place in what 2007, and like
I think it's 2 years because Iron Man 1 would be like 2008.
Oh, okay, yeah, 2008. That's what it was. Okay,
but I'm not sure. I don't know for sure. But yeah, it's just a little bit of world building fail that they have there.
In that same thing, did they're already also talking about like are they also discussing like this is why the suit should be handed over to the military?
Yeah, they go back to Gary Shandling, and he's like, you know, Tony Stark promised us that these suits can't be out there.
Yeah, and
but they are out there.
Yeah,
you know, but it's like, I don't know. It's like it's kind of a weak argument because like that guy's suit that he brought wasn't even a suit; it was just like a skeletal piece of machinery on his chest that powered some laser whips.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, I mean, it's arc reaction technology, so I get where you're coming from, but again, he was so easily stopped.
Yeah.
It's like, and even then, it's just the whole idea of the government trying to get their hands on the suit kind of stops there. I mean, they do the whole thing where they get the War Machine suit and they power that up, but even that is just like Rhodey just becomes his own guy who just they barely mention him working for the government after this,
which is funny because that doesn't go full circle till Iron Man 3, where he's like the actual Iron Patriot.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
So it's just a little bit of unfocused world building. I think it's one of the bigger downfalls in this movie. So we get to the party scene, right? Mm-hmm. And this is where Natasha Romanoff, who's supposed to be an undercover SHIELD agent, keeping her eye on Tony and seeing if he is a worthy inclusion for the Avengers, and trying to make sure that he stays alive because they find out that he's dying.
Yeah,
she encourages his poor behavior because it's like, hey, if you were dying, what would you do with your last birthday? And he's like, oh, I do whatever I wanted with whoever I wanted to do it with. And it's like, I get what she's doing, but it still seems a little silly that she is one of the catalysts that lead to this like big event where Tony gets drunk and endangers people's lives.
Wait. You said I get what she's doing, but can you explain to me what is she doing?
In a nebulous sort of way, she is, I think, trying to prove that he is not suitable for the Avengers because he is so easily manipulated into getting drunk and endangering people. But at the same time, you are letting him get drunk and endanger
people. He's a dying man. Like...
yeah, lots of people are dying, though, and they don't put on their Iron Man suits and fucking shoot at fruit with their chest.
No. I'm saying, like... How are you gonna say... Like, I don't know, like, you're like... Oh yes, we want this man to be in the Avengers, but he's dying, so he like
yeah, but they know they're gonna help him fix it anyway.
Why not fix him now and then see how he acts?
They fix it. They help him fix it the next day. It's like literally the next day Nick Fury shows up.
He just stabs him in the neck. All right, fair.
I don't know, man. It's interesting, I guess. Let's see. So the party, yeah, we're there. Okay, here we go.
This is a cool fucking scene.
Well, before he gets into the fight.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Iron Man pissing himself?
Like as a joke,
I guess,
or just in general.
Like, in general, do you think this would be an Iron Man movie where Iron Man pisses his pants?
I mean,
I don't know if this is just a hang up for me. There's always something I think about. Iron Man 2 is the one where Iron Man pisses his pants. I can never get that out of my head.
He's also drunk. If it was sober Tony, and he's like right before they get into a fight, he goes, "Hold on, Avengers," and then Jarvis is like, "It is done, sir." He's like, "Thank you." You want to talk about fucking hang up?
Titan and Thanos shows up. He's like, "Hold on, Thanos."
No,
he just stares him down as he pisses himself.
He doesn't even do that. He goes, "Guys, I just pissed myself," because that's how Marvel would write it. He would just go, Guys, I just pissed myself. I think Infinity War would be at the bottom of my fucking list, bro. I would go and have Kevin Feige's head put on a fucking pike.
If he were sober, oh my fucking god.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
but him being drunk is like it's. I think it makes sense within the context. So I'm not
he's about to die. He's getting drunk. The weight of the world's on his shoulders. Yada yada yada.
Yeah.
So Rhodey shows up. They have a fight. Here's one thing that I don't like. I don't like how they got rid of the really cool sounding Iron Man voice from the first movie. Because in the first movie, they really made his voice sound fucking cool. You know, like I'll always remember in the first movie when he goes back to Afghanistan or whatever, and he's fighting the terrorists, and he gets the one guy, and he like pulls him through the wall, and then he flies away. He's like, "It's all yours," and I'm like, "Oh, he sounds so cool." What the fuck did you just send me?
It's just a really weird keyed out people in that party scene.
Okay,
Don't look real.
Okay, cool. So him and Rhodey have a fight. It's a pretty cool fight. And
you brought this up when we were watching it, but I want to bring it up on a podcast that it's cool because Tony obviously has way more experience than Rhodey, right? So how he moves or how he turns is like kind of scary, like it was in the first movie, but it's also very like, dude, I know what to do. I've had this suit for some time now, like you know, and even Tony makes a joke, I think, of like, all right, trying to put the kid back to bed, you know, like that's
just a kid to bed. Yeah, I love the part where like they roll into like the wrestling room and like Rhodey's like rolling on the ground and he just like uses the thrusters to kind of stop himself. That was really cool. It's a neat fight, neat music they get where he gets his DJ to fucking DJ the fight as he does it.
But all the glass shredded those people. Those people should be dead.
Yeah. We are realistic movie glass cans in here.
Oh, we talked about how we were gonna make a rated R version. Like all the glass just murder everyone. Iron Man death toll 56.
Yep, pretty much.
Yeah.
So Rudy flies away. Let's see, where's my next note? I really like Nick Fury and Phil Coulson being a bigger part of this movie, even though it kind of makes the movie suffer more. But I'm just a sucker for world building, especially early on in this series.
Yeah.
So I like Nick Fury showing up and him actually getting a proper role for the first time. You know, because Samuel L. Jackson is just so great as Nick Fury. You know, we talked about the comics kind of molding the characters after the actors. Nick Fury is one of the biggest examples of that.
Do Nick Fury say motherfucker in comics?
Probably.
All right.
I will say, I don't know why I included Phil Coulson, because Phil Coulson basically gets nothing to do in this movie. He shows up and then he like leaves immediately, even though it's supposed to be like, oh, Phil's gonna watch after you, and then he's like, no, I gotta go be there for Thor. You know,
I feel like he does more in the first movie.
He absolutely does, yeah. Even though he literally just like opens the door and then somehow disappears while the rest of his agents get killed by Ironmonger.
While Ironmonger's hiding behind chains. Sorry, every time I think about that, it's just such a funny image. Because, like, how did he get back there?
All right. So, coming back to this movie with all its arc reactor and Howard Stark stuff is really cool after seeing the future movies. I don't know if you ever noticed this. In one of the journals that Tony Stark is reading that was written by his father, there's actually like an image that looks like it's a kind of a sketch of what the Tesseract might be representing or how it can be used. So that was probably not I don't know if that was like fully intended, because the Tesseract's introduced at the end of the post-credit scene of the next movie. So I'm not too sure about it, but we know that Howard Stark worked very closely with it. So
all the stuff surrounding like Howard Stark, Captain America, Tesseract, all that stuff, oddly kind of, and maybe it's because it's the World War II. And I'm pretty sure that's where this is coming from. The next thing I'm about to say, but it all reminds me of like Call of Duty Zombies a lot.
Yeah.
You know? And just like Richtofen and all that. So
yeah, using like futuristic technology back in World War II. It's pretty. Yeah. It's I can see that. I So this is another one of those things where I really like the idea of Tony having to deal with his feelings about his father.
Yeah.
Problem is that we don't get very much setup. The first thing we hear when they start to tackle this, like they do some subtle stuff, like Tony not being too enthusiastic when his father's being brought up. I think I remember towards the start of the movie where they're doing the expo, and he's like, "All right, now here's my father to talk to," and it's like a little recording of him, and he's just in the back, like not really caring too much. It's like, oh, I wonder what that's about. And the first time they actually vocalize his way, he's talking to Nick Fury, and he's like, my father, he didn't like me those best days when he sent me off to boarding school. Yeah. And that's about all we get before they try and do this whole like redemption arc where it's like, oh, Howard Stark really actually cared about him and he wanted him to complete his research. And I think it's this little half-baked. I think that might be one of the things they could have cut down on and put more focus on other things.
It's interesting in hindsight because they still tackle one, like him and his dad, and him dealing with death in future movies. Like we have Iron Man 3, we have Civil War, we have what was the other one that he? Well, maybe it was
I think it was those two. Okay. I think it was mainly Iron Man 3 and Civil War.
Oh, I was gonna say Endgame, where he actually gets to meet his dad. And that feels like the full conclusion.
Right. Yeah, right? You're right.
So it's like it's kind of it's just weird in hindsight that I guess well, maybe not weird, but like I see what they're trying to set up here. And maybe even kind of close it too here, but it's like no, we're gonna bring these things back anyway and do it, a little bit more effective, But
yeah, yep. So I guess I could thank this movie for laying the seeds for that because there's pretty cool storylines going on later.
Yeah.
So one of the things that just really is so stupid about this movie, I don't like using that word. It's so crass, but. This movie is so stupid when it tries to do the whole, like, Tony, I'm limited by the technology of my time, so I'm going to lay out the framework of this new element that has yet to be created.
You will.
Using the Stark Expo and all of its exhibits as the protons and electrons of this element that has yet to be synthesized. I can't do it, Tony, but you can, and I need you to figure it out. That makes no fucking sense. It's like,
yo, Dad, at this point, my nigga, just make the element yourself. It
makes no goddamn sense.
He does the legwork for Tony. Tony does nothing but just puts it in a ball.
No. He pushes a wrench. He's got muscles, so therefore he was able to do it.
Howard Stark was a twink.
I don't think I write later, but oh yeah. Later on, I put, "Congrats, sir! You've discovered a brand new element based on a map your dad built from the 70s. Unfortunately, it's impossible to synthesize. Oh, that's fine. I'll just synthesize it anyway." It's like, I don't care.
And you know what's kind of also kind of stupid about this? Shield or like Nick Fury locks him into a basement until he gets it. They don't let him out until he can get this fucking new element done.
He leaves to go get the map from from wherever the building is.
Fair.
It's really stupid.
What's the name with him though? Isn't one of the agents with him?
Colson is there, but then he leaves to go
to go to the door.
He needs to go. Yeah, he needs to go to New Mexico or whatever. Okay. So we have the scene you mentioned earlier with Justin Hammer selling all the weapons to give to the War Machine suit.
Yeah.
And this is where I want to point out, they do 2 Belgian waffle jokes in this movie. I don't know if you noticed this. He sells him a gun. He's like, "Oh yeah, this baby they make in Belgium. They make more than just waffles."
Okay.
Cute little joke. Then later on, when Tony's doing the map thing and he's like putting it on the hologram, and he's like, "Clear out the buildings," and Jarvis asks, "Including the Belgian waffle stands." They do 2 jokes about Belgian waffles.
They really like Belgian waffles. I think Coulson makes a joke about Belgian waffles too.
He probably does. All right, so we talked about that.
Wait, you forgot about Captain America's shield popping up.
Yeah.
That's it. Next.
No, you have nothing to say about it.
Why? I mean, cool. They're sowing the seeds for something.
Like it makes sense in continuity, I guess, because it's all Howard Stark stuff, and he helped make the Captain America shield. So, I guess.
But vibranium.
Yeah, no, it's just a regular medal, I guess. All right, so let's see. So moving ahead to the final action scene. I don't have much else to say, but I just want to mention that there's the scene where the person who we now know is actually Peter Parker. You know, they did that retroactive continuity thing where the little kid wearing the Iron Man mask, that's actually Peter Parker, you know?
Wait,
Do you not know that?
I did not know that. What?
Yeah, the little kid who he saves, who's wearing the Iron Man
Where
mask.
he's putting up his hand and
Yeah,
like
yeah,
he
that's
drops
Peter, yeah,
down.
that's Peter Parker. Yeah,
Oh, that's
because I think
that's
I think
cute.
Tom Holland said that, like, he made that as his own like fan theory, and then they decided to just make that canon.
That's cool. I fuck with that.
Yeah.
That's something I can stand for, retroactively changing.
But I will say, whenever I see it, I'm like, Tony Stark is very irresponsible in that scene. Because the kid, like, it's a big drone who's, like, pointing the gun at the kid, and the kid has his arm up as if he's, like, feigning, you know, using the pulse blast on it.
Yeah.
Then Iron Man shows up and does it behind him, and he's like, nice work, kid, and then he flies off. Don't encourage that kid. Don't make him think that he can fight these guys with his fake repulsor cannons. He's just gonna go get himself killed. It's very irresponsible.
He was too starstruck. Well, honestly, years later, that kid almost does get himself killed. And then he actually does get killed. And then he comes back. So
True.
Yeah.
So there is the scene where Black Widow and Happy Hogan break into the Hammer Industries thing, and she's very brutal with the Hammer Industry guys. Like, I feel like those guys don't know what's going on, and they're just guarding the factory that they're hired to guard as security guards, and she just, like, brutally takes them down.
Yeah.
It feels a little extreme, but it's a cool fight scene. So then we get to the final scene of the big, like, greenhouse dome or whatever. And I wanna mention, you know, they're about to, like, take positions, but they start arguing, and then a bunch of drones show up, and they have to fight them, like, back to back in the middle. Do you know who choreographed that fight scene?
Wait, you talking about the Yvonne scene?
No, that's the one before that. We're just fighting all the drones,
like going through like underneath the bridge and all that.
No. After that, where they both meet up in the dome and all the drones show up.
No, they like jaw drop down, right? They're like woo doo.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Do you know who choreographed that scene? Apparently,
is it a director?
Technically, yeah. It's not the director of the movie, but is someone who has directed.
Yeah, I know.
I don't think
they directed like Marvel stuff.
No.
Oh, okay. But it is a director.
Yeah.
But is that their main thing that people know them for?
I would say they're more known as like a creative, like someone who creates shows.
Huh? Like a showrunner?
Yeah. They're well known in the form of animation.
Animation? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Is it I was gonna say Tarkovsky. What's his name?
It is. It's Gendy Tartakovsky is the person who choreographed that scene. Yeah, and you can really tell because they have the bits where Rhodey's like shooting bullets in the guy, and there's like oil splattering on his face. That's something like right out of Samurai Jack, where they had to use robots because they couldn't show like blood splattering. Right?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. Apparently, he did the storyboarding for that fight scene. I always thought that was kind of neat.
That's cool.
And then you have the final whiplash scene. It's very short, It's like whatever.
Yeah.
It's kind of a whatever final fight.
Kind of.
I
don't know why. It could have been so cool, but whatever. Hey, listen. One thing we could talk about on this pod.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for tropes. Certain tropes, not all tropes, but certain tropes. One trope I really like is more like what asymmetrical fighting. There we go. I'm gonna coin that right here. If it's not a thing already, I'm gonna coin it. Where there is more people on one side than the other fighting each other, but the lesser side can code their own. Always fucking cool.
The law of inverse ninja proportion is the trope you're looking for.
Yes.
I believe that's what that's called.
Yes, like it's so cool that Thanos can fight all the fucking B team of the Avengers. Cool.
Thanos fighting the Avengers is so fucking cool. God damn it! I want to rewatch that movie.
Sorry. Don't do it.
So yeah, I mean, it's just it's just another one of those things that reminds you that Whiplash is kind of a half-baked villain, even though the performance is really good. And it could just use a bit more time in the tank. It's talking through this, it makes me understand what people were kind of disappointed about with this movie.
Yeah.
And then just little wrap-ups, like the Tony. It's kind of odd that they point out the fact that Pepper didn't even know that Tony was dying the whole movie until after the entire plot is resolved.
Yeah.
Like, she's like, you were dying? He's like, yeah, well, I'm fine now. It's like, I feel like that could have been more interesting if she actually found out about it.
Yeah.
He had to like worry about what she was worrying about, and then he had to eventually fix it, I don't know. I'm not a screenwriter. And then the last thing I have is just talk about the Thor teaser, but is there anything else in the back of the movie that you got?
Not in the back of the movie. I was just going to talk about more about the Tony Pepper thing. Just like I kind of wanted more, especially because I really liked their setup in the first Iron Man.
Yeah,
and I would have liked to explore that more in this movie, but they don't really do so. And I think they do a better job at that in Iron Man 3. So.
Yeah, it's a lot better in Iron Man 3, and then they kind of don't have too much going on until, they do a bit in Ultron, and then, Endgame is the one where it really kind of shines.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it's a shame, because the actors do have good chemistry with each other, but again, there's already so much going on in this movie that it's like, there can only be so much.
They had to put something away, and, they're not looking for no, love plot
that's kind of. I do like how they made that kind of more of a focus in the third movie. The third movie is kind of like an action romance, if you will. I'm trying to remember. I don't. There's a bit on Valentine's Day in that movie, I believe, or it's Couples Day. I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. Anyway,
there's their anniversary, isn't it? Because he buys her gifts.
It might be.
We'll get to that movie.
Anyway, Iron Man 2. How are you feeling?
After rewatching it, a movie that I've only seen once, now twice.
That's crazy.
I really just did not like this movie, man. I think
man.
Okay,
all right.
I'm gonna say that I lied and say that I've probably seen scenes from this movie. It probably came on, but I watched it for a second and changed it. But sitting and watching this movie from beginning to end, I've only seen it once and now twice.
Mm-hmm.
But watching it a second time, I don't think it's as bad as I was making it out to be, or how other people. I don't know what the conversation is online, but I do know that a lot of people just didn't like the movie.
But you still don't like it that much.
I find it I think it has the Hulk issue. But it does the Hulk issue it is not as glaringly obvious as the Hulk issue. I think it kind of just meanders a little bit. There's not a lot going on. Or maybe there's too much going on.
I was gonna say, I feel like it's the opposite. There's too much going on.
It's too much going on where it feels like
there's
no focus. I don't care that much. I don't really care about his death if they're just gonna solve it in 10 minutes from now. I don't really care about the Yvonne thing if they're not really gonna focus on him much. I don't really care about Pepper and him if they're not gonna focus on him much. I don't care about his dad if they're not gonna focus on it.
Hey, don't forget the government taking his suit.
They're not gonna focus on I think it would have been cool to focus on the government taking his suit and the hammer thing. Like I said, I think those things could intertwine with one another. Okay, Tony, clearly you're not going to give us the suit, but Hammer is willing to work with the government because he wants more money and yada yada. So we're gonna have, we're gonna work out a deal with him that he can replicate, quote unquote, this suit of armor, right? And even if you want to bring Yvonne in there, I wouldn't have this whole sub plot of his dad and stuff, but just have it where Hammer hires this guy to be a part of the suit, and it would just be hard on why, how would you make them fight? That's the part I'm not too big on trying to get that. I'm just giving a subplot, but only because coming out of the first movie where he's I don't want to build weapons of mass destruction, right? And then going into this movie where the government's well, we kind of need this because this is one of the best weapons of mass destruction you've made, right? That would be a really cool a through line. But I once again, I'm a little bit more forgiving with this era of Marvel because they're trying to do a lot of shit, and they don't know where this is gonna go. They don't know if it's gonna pay off in the end. So it is what it is.
I agree with pretty much all that. I don't know what it is about this movie. I just can't bring myself to dislike. You've seen this movie all the way through twice. I've seen all the Marvel movies a lot. I don't know why. I'm just a dummy who just watches these movies, even though it's just like ripe entertainment for someone who doesn't really have to think too much about what they're watching. Even though there's some great stuff in here, but I've seen this movie a lot. I've been watching this movie on a regular basis for some reason since it came out in 2010, and I've never been able to bring myself to dislike it. Or even feel impassive about it. I generally enjoy myself, and I think a lot of that is carried by such a strong lead performance, such an entertaining performance from the one of the villains, and a serviceable one by the other, and just a general feeling of effort put into almost everything except for the general plotting of the movie.
It's so funny you say that because I feel this way about Iron Man 3. Like, I've watched that movie on repeat. I think I might have seen Iron Man 3 as much as I've seen Infinity War, and I've watched Infinity War a lot, even Civil War a lot. And I think Iron Man 3 is probably next in line because like that movie to me, like no one can make me hate that movie. I'll always tell people like Iron Man 3 is up there, and they're like, "What? Why Iron Man 3?" Because that movie fucking slaps, dude.
It's probably the best Iron Man movie. It's hard. I don't remember where I ranked it. I still have my rankings on the same document, don't I? Let me see. Oh, Iron Man 3. Where's Iron Man 1? I don't. Oh, Iron Man 1's just barely above Iron Man 3 on the rankings we did here.
Yeah.
And honestly, they could pass between each other. Yeah. Holy shit, Loki's at number 14. I guess it was before season 2. Anyway,
no,
you gotta talk about Loki.
Wait, was it?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Oh my god! Wait. When we ranked it on a pod, that was before season 2.
It was before season 2. Yeah.
Holy shit! Do we have to do a Marvel re-ranking?
Loki season 2, man. It fucks so hard. Anyway, we're not here to talk about that.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's T show. No. So anyway, yeah, it's an oddball one, isn't it? Iron Man 2. It's the black sheep of the pre-Avengers movies because it's the only like sequel. Everyone got one movie except for Iron Man, who got 2.
Mm-hmm.
It's both a sequel to Iron Man and a prequel to the Avengers, like more than any of the other movies.
Yeah.
It's a wild one. It's the introduction of Black Widow. They juggle 2 villains. There's like 5 different plot lines going on. They're using AC/DC as the soundtrack.
Okay.
It's weird, but I gravitate to it.
Okay.
I don't love it, but I don't dislike it either, like a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
That's what I'll say about it.
And like I said, like I think rewatching it, I don't think I hate it. I think it's better. Because I think in my ranking, I wish I like had it like down again, or like I wish I had it saved, but I could just go listen to the podcast if I want to, as you guys should also. I believe I had it pretty like really low. Like I think it was like in my last section, type of thing. Yeah,
probably.
I wouldn't even put it that low. I think Hulk is really boring. But I really love the action scenes in that movie, and in this movie, I like the action scenes when they are they're sparing, except for the very last like Whiplash thing. But like,
I like those action scenes. That's the odd one out, isn't it? The action is actually pretty damn good in this movie. Outside of like even the drone fight's really cool.
Yeah, it's
cool.
I
don't know if you remember it that much, but that is a
I was talking because I was thinking like the scene where fucking the drones are chasing him underneath the bridge and he flies. And all the cars like shake, right? Cool. But then the drones fly by, and all of them was like started like, it's just cool.
It's just the final bit with Whiplash feels like that could have gone through another draft of figuring out how they can make it look interesting.
He also doesn't say much. It's just
he lands and he says something, but I don't even remember what he said.
Yeah, me neither. Yeah, it was weird. I was just like, I would have really liked to see like them duke it out. You know, like yeah. I also don't
How
know.
do you
Huh?
how do you feel about Rhodey shooting the ex-wife at him and it just like doing nothing?
Oh,
and
like
then it farts?
like a dink.
yeah, like ding.
I didn't really like
Like they
that.
actually put a fart sound in there. Do you remember that?
Oh, did they?
Yeah, like it dinks off him, it lands in the water, and then it just like fizzles, and then it just like goes.
Yeah, nah, dude, fuck that.
No, you don't like
I
that.
don't really care for it. Like, but that's only because I didn't like it. Okay, that would have worked if I had like a fight scene like leading up to it, or like the fight scene afterwards. But being that nothing happens anyway, it's just kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a fight. There's them fighting the drones.
I mean, real fighting. Like I wouldn't see them fight the main
between
guy.
that, right.
Yeah, you know, like
And the thing about it is that I actually really like. You know, you're talking about you like the weapons presentation he gives them at the army base.
yeah,
And actually, you know, I kind of I fuck with like his little speech about it, where he's like, you know, capable of reducing the population of any standing structure to zero in a matter of moments. I call it the ex-wife. And not only is that funny, but I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd like to have one of those if I was like a military man. But then it just kind of like it fizzles out, and I get that's part of the joke. They'd go like, you know, hammer tech, yeah. It's like, yeah, it's supposed to be like he's incompetent, he can't make something, but it's like,
but
I
all
don't know.
his other shit works though. That's you know.
I mean,
like,
it's being made by Ivan, right? Like he's the one.
well,
who's
no,
making
no.
all the
I meant
drones.
like all the shit that works on Rhodey's like
Oh, like
the
all the
suit, that's
guns
all
are-
his
yeah,
that's
yeah,
all
I
his
guess.
shit. So
Yeah, I don't know. I don't even dislike that part. It's just kind of weird.
mm.
All right. Well, yeah, we actually just passed an hour. So
Also,
any
Yvonne
thoughts,
just
Robert?
let
Yeah.
them do the beam thing at each other. Like he didn't do. Yeah, whatever.
He
Whatever.
let them do that. He let them shoot the fucking ex-wife at him. He didn't know that thing wasn't gonna work. Well, I mean, maybe he knew that he gave that he knew it was gonna work. But I mean, did he? Like he
I don't
just
know.
let them shoot a missile at him, and he just
True.
like flexed his peck into it.
True. Yeah, he just wanted to die. I think
Oh, my
they should have just made
wanted to go
Yvonne
see
suicidal the whole fucking movie.
Oh my god, he wanted his board. We barely even talked about the board. But yeah, I
Yeah.
like what he said. He wants his board.
That very scary scene where he murders everyone. He has that guy hanging in the fucking cell or whatever. That shit's scary. Scary, man.
I love when Hammer starts taking all his stuff. It's like, yeah, you like that stuff, didn't you? You know, and now he got taken away. Well, that's how I feel. He just looks he looks like he's about to cry.
What does Yvonne repeat to him that he said to him earlier?
Hey, man, don't get too attached to things.
Yvonne,
I
you gotta learn
also
how to
love
not to
how,
get attached to things.
Yeah, I've also loved people point out that you could see like his spray on tan on his hands.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's really cute. Oh man! All right, anything else about this fantastical movie?
Nah, I think that's it. It's pretty something.
All right.
Pretty quick one. Like,
Oh hey, it's
what's going on? I can't wait to dude, we get to like phase 3, phase 4.
oh my god! I was looking at the Phase 3 lineup because I was thinking about the Marvel villains, and I
Yeah.
was looking at the movies in Phase 3, and I'm like, holy fuck! There was just a few years time where this studio was just
Derek
fucking
cooking.
bangers. They were putting out
They-
big. I want to go back. I
Bruh.
have the page actually.
Bruh. They hit the Guardians rush and they were like, oh fuck. We gotta lock in.
Dude, I want to just point out they had Civil War, Guardians Volume 2, Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Black Panther is like, you know, it's not my cup of tea, but I know like loads of people
Oh,
fuck with it.
I can't wait till we talk
Infinity
about that.
War, Endgame, and Far From Home, all in Phase 3.
Dude.
Mm,
Yeah, nah,
dude, that was
that-
the stretch right
they
there.
fucking cooked, dude.
Also, Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
But like that's yeah, well, that was the like we
I
will,
like Captain Marvel.
we will talk about it when we get there. But you know, that was a moment where like Marvel was hitting a stride, not only because like you know the stories were good, but that's when people were like kind of like really getting into Marvel. Like people that weren't really into Marvel before started like, oh, let me pay attention to this because clearly people are saying it's good, you know. So that was really cool to hear like other people kind of get into it and be like, oh shit, I watched all the way up to this and it's like paying off. So
Don't forget the
cool.
Inhumans. That was Part of that.
Why?
Why?
We gotta watch that. We also gotta watch Cloak and Dagger.
Oh God, I'll watch Cloak and Dagger. I would not watch the Inhumans. That like the I don't know if you know this. Those episodes are 40 minutes. Those are double length episodes.
Oh, they're not 20-minute.
Yeah,
Because I thought they were like, because Agent of Shield is 20 minutes, right? Or those are also 40.
they're 40 minutes. I think.
Oh, okay, never mind then.
Agent of Shield is great for the most part. Yeah, I don't think you could get me to watch Inhumans. I don't think I could handle it. I'm one of those people who just I can't stand watching something that's boring and long.
Like
I can't handle it.
Lost Memories. Yeah, that's fair. That's very fair.
But
I think I'm good. But we gotta get through the prequels, so
we got next time we come back to Marvel, we'll be doing Thor, which will be neat. I like revisiting that movie. It has a lot of stuff that I love in there, and a lot of stuff I really don't like that much.
and that's a movie I don't remember at all, so it's gonna be fun going into.
So that'll be fun. Oh man, Chris, I can't wait to gush to you about the stuff I really fucking like in that movie.
Yeah.
Sandwiched in between just me talking about how fucking boring New Mexico is. Sorry, Breaking Bad.
You don't like Albuquerque?
I've never been there, but
Okay.
Yeah. But before we get back to Marvel, what are we doing? Prequels next?
Yeah. So this is our 8th episode, right?
Nice.
9th episode. I'm thinking we could do prequels.
All
Our
right, all of
10th
them.
episode. Yeah, we'll do 3. Yeah, like I said, I wanted to do 3, 3,
We did
3.
with Star Wars. So,
Yeah.
all right, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense.
And for our 10th episode, I think I want to play a game. Like,
Okay.
yeah,
All
I
right,
think that would
fair
be
enough.
really fun. I just gotta figure out like what I want to do.
All right.
with it.
Yeah. Do that.
And then I guess one other thing I want to talk about before we get off the pod is it's something I brought up to you before, but I'm thinking about bringing like what's the word I'm looking for? Like a category into the pod where we watch we watch like the original movie of something and then watch the
the old
remix of
versus
something.
new thing.
Yeah. I think that would be really cool. And we just can do a compare and contrast things that we love from both, things we don't like from both, things that maybe we don't, maybe there isn't anything that we don't like. We just love both of them for 2 different reasons. I think that would be really interesting.
King
And
Kong.
call it versus series. So
Yeah, that'd be fun.
yeah. But,
We'll try and do it more frequently.
yeah, we'll try to do it more frequently.
those
It would be
things
cool if
need-
we can get 2 episodes in 1 month. At some point.
I would fucking love that.
Yeah.
You know I would. And I am totally down for that. I'm gonna try. You know what? I'm gonna try and make that happen. I'm gonna start with trying to make once a month happen, and then if we can do that for like a few months in a row,
Right.
I'll try and make 2 months.
Okay.
2 times a month
All
happen.
right.
And I'm gonna be on your ass
Which
about it.
is crazy because we watched Late Night with the Devil, and then like a little bit like a week or 2 later we watched Iron Man 2, right? It wasn't that long ago, right? Or sorry, it wasn't long after each other, I don't think.
I don't remember. I feel like we watched Late Night and then it took a few weeks to actually get around to actually recording it. But I could
Oh,
be
did
wrong.
we? Okay, maybe.
I feel
I
like
thought we
it, but
recorded it pretty. I thought we recorded it pretty quickly. Either way, 2025, new year, new us. We got this.
I'm going to do the best I can. We got a question time.
Oh
think
man,
of a
I
question.
didn't load up a question. You got one for me?
Got one for you. Okay. What is your New Year's resolution besides doing more podcasts more frequently? What do you want to accomplish this year?
This still kind of goes into the creating podcasts more frequently, so forgive me. But I think one thing I said to myself is like, I just want to create more. I think last year I spent a lot of time just kind of like playing catch up with myself, just in terms of like my personal life. A lot of shit was going on, like a lot of shit. So I think with this year, I just want to create more. Like I am currently working on a short film. Like I am literally doing like dress rehearsal for it on Sunday. So I'm really excited about that, but I just want to do more content, just pushing things out more.
Yeah,
just
me
kinda,
too. I agree.
Yeah.
I have so much stuff on my backlog. I'm just not uploading onto my channel. Like it's so barren. I just need to get through all that. So I'm gonna try and work on that. More than that, I'm fucking starting a new job this month, so I'm gonna just try and hope that goes well.
True.
But
Is that
hey,
your
and
new resolution?
Yeah, well, my New Year's resolution is I want to get my life sorted around my new job and trying to get myself into my new housing. You know, because I've just been between everything these last couple months. And I want to try and as soon as I can get into a new place and hopefully have it be a good place where not only can I work a good job, but also do same as you, execute my creative exploits, as it were. I'd also like to get caught up on Marvel because I've been working on that, and as much as it might pain me, finishing Secret Invasion, which I did, but I still need to catch up on What If, Echo, Deadpool, Wolverine, Agatha, and I think that's it actually. Oh, and X-Men 97, even though that's not really MCU.
True. I think. I gotta kind of do the same because I still gotta watch Agatha. I still I gotta finish What If, season 2 and 3 now.
That's crazy that season 3 just like kind of came out.
Yeah, and like I think people enjoyed it. I don't know.
I haven't really seen anything.
Yeah, it's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of hard doing that without Riley because I really do enjoy watching things with Riley and how we react to things.
My god, Chris, watching Loki season 2 was one of the best fucking things ever. That was so fucking sick. That final episode, in fact, every episode, but especially that final episode.
Yeah.
Oh my god, with the fucking music. Oh my god,
you know
that was
how
orgasmic.
I'm so like I keep like debating whether or not I want to drop money on fucking Marvel Rivals, but I saw that they put the Loki suit in there like the first time and I was like, oh my god, they know how to fucking get me because
these fucking bastards.
Fuck them, dude.
By the way, holiday seasons, I rewatched Hawkeye. I'm trying to make that my yearly thing,
Interesting.
man. I fucking love that show. Every time I watch it, I fucking love the Hawkeye show.
Okay.
Sorry.
Right.
And then what was I gonna say? Also a backup question. Is there a Marvel thing you're excited for this year? We got
Daredevil.
New World, Daredevil, and then Thunderbolts.
I gotta look at this again, but I think fucking Brave New World and Daredevil drop on the same day or something like that.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, let me
Brave
check.
New World is I got it. February 14th, Valentine's Day for Brave New World.
Oh, okay, then never mind. That's March 7th
Daredevil's
for
in March.
Oh wait,
March 7th?
No,
it's March 4th.
Maybe it's something else I saw, like another movie that I was interested in that's maybe just dropping on the same day.
Yeah,
I think that's what it is. Either way, yeah, Brave New World. I don't know. I feel weird about that. I don't know. Maybe because I don't know enough about like Red Hulk, right? And that's gonna be a thing. And I was like, I don't know. Maybe.
Apparently, they're bringing back Isaiah Bradley. That's new to me.
That's what I'm excited for, right? But
I mean, need to see what he's up to.
But Marvel has this thing, which I don't think is a problem, but it could be. But like, Marvel has this thing where all their trailers are usually like the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then the rest is like completely unknown, which I like. But they showed the Isaiah Bradley and like him like fucking. I think he's gonna fuck up this like dinner that they're having.
Is this in the trailers?
Yes, this is in the trailer.
I haven't seen the trailers.
That's okay. My bad.
I haven't seen any. No, it's fine. I don't care.
Oh well, yeah. They show Isaiah Bradley, and I think he's like a secret soldier, kind of like Winter Soldier type of thing. And he I think he goes off and he's gonna either murder someone at this dinner or whatever the case may be. But then they have him in jail, and then Captain America is kind of like, "Yo, do you remember anything?" And he's like, "I don't remember shit." So, or he's going to tell his story. They don't really give you what he says. It's just kind of like a theatrical. Duh. So, I think that's going to be really cool, and that's the part I'm really interested in. But I'm afraid because it's like the first 15 minutes of the movie that Isaiah Bradley is not going to be like very like all that prominent, and which is fine. But I think that's a more interesting.
I'm worried because the cast looks like it's going to have 3 villains. Like they're going to have Red Hulk. They're bringing back Tim Blake Nelson as the leader from Incredible Hulk, and then also Giancarlo Esposito is supposed to be in it as a villain.
Yeah, I don't know what he does.
I don't know if they're going to be able to juggle 3 villains well, but
fighting by the fucking eternal fucking thing that came out the ground. What is it called?
The Celestial dude.
The Celestial, yeah. Like in that trailer, they show a quick glance of them like fighting by it, so that could be a whole thing. Yeah.
That'll be weird. I mean, I hope it's good, but I don't know.
Oh, no, you said
And
Thunderbolts
that's
are
the
coming
action's
out,
gonna
right?
be good. Yeah, Thunderbolts coming out towards the end of the year.
I'm interested in that. I think it's gonna be cool. I don't know if that I'm most excited. I'm really most excited about Daredevil only because it's fucking Daredevil and it's my favorite show. But
I'm super fucking hyped to see Florence Pugh again as Yelena. She's
True.
one of the standouts in terms of post Endgame for me. I think she's just such a fun character.
her and Loki, I think Bucky. I don't really care for Bucky, but I think I like him post Endgame. So they could do some cool stuff with him. You know what I mean? So
Dude, Wyatt Russell as a U.S. agent.
Okay.
John Walker's coming back. I love him. I can't wait to see
did,
these guys.
but the way that they just wrote him at the end of fucking Winter Soldier and Falcon is just kind of like it's just a little strange. I'm like, what are you gonna do with him coming?
But I can't deny how much I loved him as a character. He was one of those standouts in that show.
Yeah, he was cool.
Good lord! All right, we are going way over.
Oh yeah. We're hitting an hour 15. So
once we start talking about Marvel, I can't stop. I'm a loser. You know.
yeah.
But,
Those prequels gonna be like 2 hours and some change.
well,
All right.
I'll try and keep it moving when we get to it.
Yeah.
We'll try and keep it under 2 hours at least.
Yeah.
We'll try and get that done. I want to get that done before the end of February. All right.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that.
Okay. Plug socials.
Plug socials, Isolation on YouTube, and that is it. I'm not on TikTok, which apparently is not going to be a thing anymore.
Dead, fried.
Twitter, Blue Sky. I was thinking about getting on Blue Sky because everyone's kind of doing that.
It's really nice.
I haven't really.
I haven't been on there in quite some time.
But yeah, I might do that just to keep up with like content creators or whatever that I follow. But yeah, I mean, it's really just Isolation on YouTube, and that's and also Twitch. I think I'm Isolation on. Do you know if I'm Isolation on Twitch? I think I am.
Yeah, or
I don't stream.
You're not Joker Man 321.
No, I think I changed it. Yeah, I'm Isolation on Twitch. Yep. I don't ever stream, but if you want to follow me, then you know when I do, if I do. But that's it. Chris, socials.
Rose Colored Boy, rosecolored.boyy on Instagram. If you want to follow me there, I post a lot of like personal stuff, but I do it in a really cool way, so do that. Modern Day Age on everything else on YouTube. Modern Day Age, all one word. Modern Day Age with 2 E's on Twitter, but kind of going over to Blue Sky, so Modern Day Age on there. What else? I think that is it.
Up and After on YouTube. If you are
Up and After on YouTube.
Something else, but you can also listen to these on YouTube if you want.
I think so. Like that's connected to like my account, and I think it changed the name. So I'm sorry about that. If it
I think I'm subbed to it, so
yeah, it might be Chrissy Jackson now. So I don't.
Is it really?
Maybe, yeah. I didn't like that, but
that's weird.
I'm gonna try to change it back so we have Upper and After. So just if not Chrissy Jackson, but I'm going to change it back
somewhere. I'm sure you can find it. Well, hopefully, ideally we link everything everywhere. So
yeah, I mean, if you look at the Up and After podcast, it's going to pop up.
Oh yeah, I just found it, Chrissy Jackson.
Yeah,
there it is.
Yep. It has if you get the chance, look at the profile picture.
Yeah. I was like trying to figure out what that is.
Profile picture. It's a like a art of like this woman in nice armor, but she has like the sword in her stomach, like a whatever.
Samurai.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Cool.
Yeah. That's
podcast number 8.
Podcast number 8. Holy fuck, we're about to reach 10. I'm excited.
We'll be back next time, number 9, with the Star Wars prequels. Chris has never seen them, and I am delighted. I'm going to try and record as we watch them so I can get some reactions. I don't think they could be on the podcast anyway, but I might upload like a highlight reel to my YouTube channel.
Fun.
That'll be pretty funny.
Also,
I'm excited for that.
Lastly, where you can find the podcast at on Spotify, on Apple, and on YouTube. So we're good.
Where you get your podcasts.
I don't know if it's on Google. I don't know if does Google. I think Google is Google Podcast a thing.
Google Podcast. I think that's the thing.
It might be on Google. I'll check
get on that market.
This. Yeah, so I'm trying to reach all demographics, old to young.
All right. Well, before we drag this out any longer, I will see you and hopefully Chris later.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.